Hello everybody and welcome to Pravus Gaming and another Endless Legend series. It has been a while since I last played this game, but a new expansion was recently released, Symbiosis, and it's got some pretty cool new features that I want to experience, so we are jumping back into the game. Also, I believe I have heard that this is the last expansion for Endless Legend. I believe I'm correct on that. So you can imagine it is going to be a doozy. As usual, a new expansion does come with a new faction. Today we have the Mykara, a bizarre race of fungal people with a really different playstyle than we are used to, and I'm eager to see what they can do. Ancient dwellers of the subterranean realm with mycelial webs stretching throughout the crust, the Mykara are one of Orga's oldest species. Legend has it they have broken onto the surface many times through the ages in an eternal struggle with the great Urkan beasts. And the Urkans are a whole nother thing that we're going to have to deal with, but I'm not going to get into that right now. For unit types, we start off with a ranger with pretty reasonable stats and an ability called Fungal Bloom Regen, which we'll talk about later. They start off with slowdown. They're pretty much intended to be good at kiting units, I think. But they're not bad. They're not half bad at all. Gorgons are our cavalry units. They are pretty squishy for the most part, but their primary advantage is that they have dual wield, which previously I think was restricted only to the Forgotten as a race. So now we have Gorgons that can wield two weapons and do a lot of damage. So squishy, but they're glass cannons, basically. And then finally we have the Shambler, a slow-moving infantry unit with pretty good defense. They are obviously intended to be the front line that peels for your rangers and your cavalry to do all the damage. Now, about the Mykara themselves. The weird thing about them is they are a one-city civilization. And that's not the first time we've seen that in Endless Legend. The cultists are the same way, but the Mykara do it a little bit differently. They still can conquer cities and actually take them over, but they can never develop them. Instead, what they do is they get all the resources from that city that they've taken over, and for a few turns, they go through a period of symbiosis in which they start to assimilate the major faction race that they conquered. And depending on which race that we took a city from and get symbiosis, we will get some sort of different perk as the Mykara. So I think, for example, if we were to take over a Broken Lord city, take it, get through the symbiosis phase, the Mykara get like a flat dust increase across the Empire for the rest of the game. So really what we want to do is take one city, minimum, from as many races as possible. As a result, these guys tend to be a bit militaristic in their playstyle. Some of the other benefits of the Mykara. Twilight Flourish, we can increase our fungal blooms using dust. Actually, you have no idea what that does. Okay, fungal blooms. Since we can only have one city and we're stuck to one region, this is the way of the Mykara to get around and actually still get extra resources on the map. So, for example, let's suppose in a region that we do not control, we come across a titanium deposit. We can use a fungal bloom to take over that extractor and start producing resources back in the city. Start getting some titanium, even though we do not control the region. And we can do this anywhere in the world at any time. It just takes a few turns and some food in order to build them. Very powerful. We can do this also with luxury resources. We can do it with watchtowers to get vision. We can do it on pacified minor factions so that we'll be able to assimilate whoever we want, even though they're not in our realm. Pretty strong. And also, we can put this on temples and create a teleporting network using subterranean cave passages between them. So we can start getting around the map very rapidly. It's an interesting playstyle, as I said. We also have a negative trait, inefficient extraction. This reduces the amount of strategic and luxury resources we get per extractor. So that kind of offsets some of the benefit of placing those extractors anywhere in the world, kind of balances things out a little bit. Also, the more food we have, we get 10% of that as industry. So lots of food translates into a little bit of extra industry. Obviously, these guys, you want to build tall, get as much food as possible, get a huge population. That is the primary idea of the Mykara. The overgrown cities I already talked about, so that's where you just take over a city and you can get their resources, but also get a perk. Let's see. Our starting technology will be Search Party, so better odds of finding something in ruins. And Topography, which gives us the Geomic Labs extra science on terrain. Not bad, not great, kind of depends on what we find. Also, we have a couple of unique technologies using the Urkans, which we'll explain later. Just know that we can get a technology in Era 2 that allows us to garrison units in tamed Urkans. And in Era 3, Urkan politics, cheaper influence costs when doing diplomatic interactions with other resources if we control an Urkan. And that just gets better the more Urkans we control. So we can become a very powerful diplomatic powerhouse as well. All right, now the question is, do I want to play on Impossible? Probably should not, because this is a new faction and I'm not really sure what I'm doing. But we're going to do it anyway, and if I lose, I lose. But hopefully it still ends up being a really entertaining game. Everything else I'm going to leave pretty much just by default. Random map type, continents are going to be regular in their shape, and so on. Everything else here seems perfectly fine. Let's get started with the Mykara.
I unearthed an ancient organism and named it Mykara. Hardy, energetic, invasive. I encouraged its growth, let it in. It transformed our knowledge, our lives, our understanding of the Urkans. But the mages, our old enemy, gained control of one of them. And together, they slaughtered all but one. Me. That day, I gave myself fully to the Mykara. And we became a fearsome power, hungry for vengeance.
Okay, interesting. Hey, Silix, right off the bat. Wow, one of my favorite minor factions to find. That's pretty darn awesome. Okay. So, obviously, I have never played as Mykara before, so their faction quest is new to me. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with that, but it's going to be fun to explore and see what they can do. The Mykara use food from their unique city to exploit points of interests in unexploited regions. Although captured cities cannot be further developed, they still grant their tile outputs and allow symbiosis. So to be most effective, the Mykara also seek to control the Urkans, which is something we'll get into, I have no doubt. Wow, there's a lot of interesting... anomalies over here. Ooh. Okay, anyway, sorry, come back to that thought. Yeah, the Urkans are a super unit that will pop up kind of in the mid-game-ish in uncolonized regions. You can control them and use them to do other things, either by conquering them and adding them to your faction, or by bribing them, one of the two. But we'll worry about that later, not super important at the moment. For now, let's go ahead and turn back on the grid and see what resources we have available. Interesting. Good amount of science at the beginning of the game. Reasonable amount of food. This is not even a bad place just to put down right now. The alternative, I do like spiral rock peel. That's pretty good. You also get some approval, which I really like. This does not give approval. Clay. It's not bad. Bit of extra industry. And we have emeralds nearby. Huh. All right, well, let's go ahead and take our Ipitanes. We are going to start exploring the nearby areas. See if there's anything else that I really would prefer to take it for my first settle. Since we only get one city, obviously it is extremely crucial we get a very, very good city to start. Right off the bat, I am seeing 7 more food from Hidden Springs here. Now, that is interesting. There's also some more clay over here. Oh, this is going to get really... difficult, isn't it? Okay. Let's send this Ipitane over here. I'm just going to see if there's... Well, I did not mean to do whatever I just did. Oh, crap. I've already messed up. Okay, I did not mean to walk into the forest with my entire army. I just wanted to move the one unit. It's okay if we don't settle on our very first turn. But I really want to explore as much as we can. I'm going to take the Ipitane here and move you. This is what I meant to do the first time. I'm surprised it didn't let me. And we can't actually see much through this valley, unfortunately. So there might be some really good stuff over here, and I have no idea. And that always makes me nervous. Do we settle now anyway? 12... industry with 19 food is really strong. I suppose this is not the worst thing. If I settled here, it's a solid start, and we could build our districts out in this direction if we find a lot of useful stuff. And if we don't, we can just build over here towards these anomalies, and that is fine. Just make sure I'm not missing anything obvious. 13, 14, that's pretty good too, but I like this. And obviously I don't want to build on the very edge. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and take this settle. It's pretty good. 19 food to start is amazing. We did discover the Kazanji, a flying demon race, pretty good at combat. They are not half bad. We will probably want to assimilate them. But okay, so there's our starting city. It's got an interesting effect here. I guess I'll go ahead and have my hero merge up with these guys for now. Or actually, I should have sent him here to go get the temple. I'm already making some misplays, which is not a good sign on impossible difficulty, but they're not insurmountable at this point. We're going to go for the Founders Memorial to start. Pretty good industry means we can get this rather fast. 4 turns is speedy. I like that. Geomic Labs will not get me a lot of benefit, unfortunately. Only, I think, a total of 4 science, but as we expand, they might become more valuable. So we'll kind of have to come back to this to decide if this is even worth going for with my industry. Might be better to pump out a few extra military units. We shall see. Research we need to go and do right now. So we started off with Search Party and with Geomic Labs. Do I want to go for the Mill Foundry or do I want to go for Cultivation? Probably the Mill Foundry, because the extra 15% is really going to add up with these guys. We'll be able to start building things very fast. Then again, I don't have a lot to build until I start discovering other techs, like the seed storage. So maybe it is better to go for this first. Also, we'll be able to get the Husbandry Center if I decide I'm not going to go for the Geomic Labs, which could translate into a ton of extra food. Or screw it all and go for the Public Library for the Science, or we start extracting. Let's go for the seed storage first, try to really ramp up our food and start building super, super freaking tall. Let's try that and see how well it works. End turn. And that's going to lead us into our faction quest immediately. Dreams of a Massacre. The ozonic stench of the mage's lightning attacks fills my nostrils, mingles with the smell of burning flesh. I stumble down a narrow passage, the dim phosphorescent light from the mycelial veins causing my shadow to flicker across the craggy stone. The rock shakes. I hear the deep-throated roar of the Urkan, and my skin crawls with terror. I'm gripping a weapon, a mighty axe, but it feels like dead weight in my hands. Am I rallying my men, or running from the enemy? The passage opens into another tableau of slaughter, my kinsmen dying or dead on the cold stone, their blood sprayed in crimson arcs or pooled in dark puddles. I stop dead. You cannot linger. You are Toth Agnes. You are the first of the bloodline. Others need you. Empty words. This is a slaughter. I know there are no others. I've brought death upon these people who followed me away from the home vaults. Memory and reality are hard to distinguish. I slumber, drifting between the past and present. The battle is over, of that I am certain. I survived, somehow. In the here and now I feel renewal, regrowth, and desire to reach into new places. I am confused. I slip back into my recollections, the familiarity outweighing the distress. Something grips my ankle, and my body tenses, fingers gripping the shaft of the axe. It's only a dying kinsman, though. To my shame, I don't know his name. A handful of words spill from his lips, whispered and ragged. Avenge us. Tears come to my eyes, but my sadness swiftly turns to fury. I will, I reply, clutching his forearm. I promise. So if you haven't seen Endless Legend before, it's got a bit of a story focus, and every different faction has their own special, unique quest line, which give different objectives and different rewards, and ultimately can lead to winning the game. In this case, with the Mykara, I have no idea what's coming. So we're going to read through all this and have some fun. We must recover our strength and prepare for vengeance, research the Alchemist's Furnace tech to enable construction of Mycaran extractors, and we will get 10 Blood Crystal. That's a Tier 2 luxury, which is pretty nice, I suppose. Extra 25% attack. I like it. Better, obviously, to use while we are fighting other players, but 10 extra approval is certainly nothing to sneeze at. I do like that idea. We, of course, are a happy faction because we got to start on the Spiral Rock Peel, so we get an extra 15% food and production in our primary city, which is extremely strong. Not to mention a happy empire giving us extra 15% dust and science. I'm telling you guys, starting on an anomaly that gives 10 approval at the beginning of the game is so gosh dang good. All right, let's go ahead and explore this. I want my hero to do some of that to get the extra XP. We find 10 spices. Oh, I'm going to pop those now. So spices give you an extra 50% food for 10 turns and some extra approval. We don't necessarily need the approval because I'm already happy, but an extra 50% food means I'm going to grow phenomenally quickly. Well, that's amazing. We're going to go ahead and switch over to production. No, I'm not. I was going to switch over to production to shave off a turn from the Founder's Memorial. Doesn't seem like that's going to do anything. Could switch over to something like Influence or maybe a little bit of extra Dust or Science or something. Going to some extra Science would actually speed up cultivation a lot, and I'll still grow and build at the same rate. So let's do this for now, but we'll want to reevaluate in the next turn. With this unit, looks like we have an ice biome down over here. That's fun. Let's see. I found another ruin, so we should explore that. Here's another one. Rumbling stones. Okay. So there is actually a lot of good stuff over here. Like building my my city in a long line down here would make some sense. We could get a lot of extra production and a lot of extra food with the hidden springs. Over here is the science, which is tempting, but I don't think I'm going to end up going for that. I like science and all, but it's hard to pass up that much food and production and dust. I don't know. We'll evaluate as time goes on. I'm obviously not going to commit myself to anything at the moment. Next turn. I could move these guys further, and I should have, and I'm an idiot for not doing so. We've discovered the haunts up over here. Okay, these guys are interesting. We'll be able to get some extra benefits from them. Until I research Language Square, I'm not going to be able to talk to these guys to get any quests. So for now, we're just kind of exploring. Now's the time where I'm going to split my hero off from... Wait, my hero's still over here. Oh, for the love of God. I thought I joined him up. All right, hero's going to go this way. Hi, Kazanji. You are going to go up this way. All right. For a faction that relies very heavily on exploration, I am already screwing up royally. Kazanji are actually going to be this region's minor faction as well, and the one above us. That's interesting because what that means is I see 3 Kazanji villages that theoretically I could subjugate and use fungal spores to get to join my faction and have 3 of them. Which could translate into what? Like 15% extra influence as well as some really good units? It's not bad. 30% extra dust that away. Okay. Did I start with no luck strategics? Oh my gosh. I thought you were guaranteed to start with at least 1. One of these tiles probably has a strategic in it. I think that all starting regions have to have at least 1. We need to find out what it's going to be. But that is unfortunate. Black Earth over here is pretty good too. Huh. Doesn't matter though, I can't build any more cities or anything. So let's see. We've already used you. We've already done this. I'm kind of used to playing Civilization 5, where it tells you if your units have movements, which is why I've messed up a lot of this already. But even so. We are going to get up to 3 population in a moment. There's no point in switching to anything else right now. So let's sort of stick on the science. I'll still get cultivation right now. We could get a little extra influence, but I think I'll stick with a little bit of dust. Maybe we're going to get a little extra influence. It doesn't hurt to have influence right now. You never know when you're going to need it, okay? And then you wish you had the influence. I don't need dust right now in the early game. Science is fine. I'm going to get everything at the same time. So, yeah, I'm fine with this right now. Okay, let's move forward. I don't have to explain myself more than this to you. I'm fine with this. 30 dusts, good. More Kazanji? There's 4 of them nearby. Wow. So, not only are we going to get a really strong assimilation bonus from the Kazanji, but I think every additional minor faction village you have reduces the cost of producing them as units, and they're pretty strong fighters. So we might be able to field a lot of demons. This is a cliff, so we have to go up this way. There's another one of these ruins, another one over here. You may notice this little button down here, by the way. This is for the fungal growth. We can spend some of our food production in the turn, for 8 turns, to get a fungal growth to be placed on a structure of some sort. Or village if we've already put them down. The advantages of the temples is you'll be able to walk into them and then use a subterranean travel network to get to any other one that has a fungal spore already, and just kind of teleport across the map. It's very interesting. we might be able to use that to really mess up my opponents. Found another another ruin down over here, so we want to make sure we get to that. You'll talk to them. Okay, so this is the coastline. There's nothing else to be had over here. So the hero probably should come down to the south. If we can get Language Square, I should probably talk to some people and see if I can get a quest. Probably should do that, yeah. But for now, let's stick with what we got. Get Cultivation. Founders Memorial is done. So my city's going to get a lot of extra perks there. And again, remember, we are happy, so that keeps stacking up. We are going to switch over to the seed storage next, get a lot of extra food before the dust eclipse and winter, get as much benefit out of this as possible. If we can reduce its cost a bit, we will be able to buy it out. Let's switch over to food. We can now grow in 3 turns instead of 5. I could speed up this seed storage a little bit. If we did this, I'd get the seed storage in 3 turns, and we still would grow in 3 turns. That makes the most sense to me. Get as much benefit as early as possible. Now, let's see. So you have movement. We are going to go over here. Use the ruin. 30 more dust. Good. Let's go down this way. It's a beautiful area. Ice sculptures. Oh, I wonder who did that. Do you want to build a snowman? Let's search this ruin. Nothing. Unfortunate. Search party is supposed to stop that from happening. Mostly. 30 more dust. Okay. Well, good. I guess that means I could actually just buy out the seed storage right now. And that might be the best choice. Alternatively, I don't know. Let's think. So if I go for a burrow, get a lot of extra production if we do this. Literally no benefit building out this way. Would love to get the sign. Look at that, though. It's so... The thing about doing this is we'd be building a burrow district we probably would not be leveling up. That said, I mean, I'm already happy. I can afford to do that, sort of. I think we have to pick up the extra science. That's a pretty huge advantage. Do I just buy out the seed storage so we could grow even faster? Right now. It's a tempting use of dust, and I'm going to do it. We can go to the burrow street a little bit faster. Primarily, the advantage is we're going to get that many extra turns of loads of extra food and stack these modifiers as much as we can. I think that's the right play. I am by no means an expert at Endless Legend, which is, again, probably another reason why playing on impossible difficulty is a stupid idea. But all the same, I'm going to do it because I want a challenge, and I want to really stretch myself. And if we lose, we lose. Understand, going into this, there's a very high likelihood that I am going to lose this run. We'll still grow at 2 turns, even if I move everybody over here to production. But we can shave off a turn. If I do this, I can shave off 2 turns from the mill foundry, which is a good idea. Could even shave off more. But if I time it this way, as soon as I'm done with the burrow streets, I can build the mill foundry, which I like. So let's do that next. As with every 4X game, the early game, like the more you snowball, the better you do in your first few turns. Just in general, the better your game is going to be. Hello, spices. I like those. Let's work our way over to this ruin as well. I need to make sure that I actually pay attention to all my movement. It is going to be very easy for me to lose track of them. Delvers for dust. If I was playing as the Broken Lords, I would be positively giddy right about now. But am not. All right, let's go down here to the south. Silics are going to be quite interesting for me. So I think I talked about how the Mykara, we can place our extractors everywhere, but we get half the benefit that a normal civilization would, right? I suspect that assimilating the Silics would offset that completely. So we would get a lot of extra stuff. And by the way, I apparently am wrong, and it is entirely possible to get no strategics in your starting region. Which is amazingly unfortunate. Whoa, 2 massive trees next to each other. Okay, this actually would have been an amazing start over here, but there was no way I could have known. That's interesting. Makes me wonder if I want to reevaluate and maybe build this way. There's so much stuff. Ah! I don't know what's going to be better. A lot of extra science this way. And production. This might be better to go this way, honestly. With the massive trees, that almost offsets the hidden spring. Still be able to get to the rumbling stones, geothermal pits, maybe eventually to the Black Earth, though that's a very big city. Realistically, it probably would stop right about here. Maybe. Clay. Yeah, I think this might be better, now that I see those massive trees. Well, we don't have to worry about that quite yet. More spices. Good to know. Yeah, I would love to get fungal blooms on spices. That's... whoa! That's not what I meant to do. Cancel. Yes. Didn't mean to do a fungal bloom there. I just wanted to explore. Thank you. We find... oh, lust for loot. Okay, if we can get a hero all the way over here, we can get a lot of titanium. And we are going to immediately make a beeline for that. Actually, I'm going to move the hero over here. Just teleport him directly. And then next turn, we'll make a beeline down here. That's going to be a lot faster. Lust for loot can give you a lot of really good stuff. And 15 titanium to start off is not half bad. It's not amazing, but it's not half bad. 40 more dust. Okay. Let's see. Let's reevaluate the city. Still looking pretty good. Still growing. 2 more turns until we have another building and some more science done. This strikes me as a reasonably good start. And thus far, I have not found any other players. I'm hoping that we are going to find ourselves more or less left alone for a while. Orcs, not bad to assimilate for the extra attack value. They are reasonably good ranged, but I already have pretty good range, so we don't really need to make that a priority. Let's jump up here, see if there's anything else. No. So I will let this guy run down here to pick up this ruin. Let's try to get the lust for loot going as fast as we can. Should be able to get there next turn. Igloo larva. That's cool. All right. Yes, next turn. Now, the big downside of doing the burrow, of course, is it does reduce your happiness. So we have to be mindful of that. But because we have the spices, we are still happy, at least for now. We are going to want to try to find another way to get some luxuries to boost that up. But we've got a really, really strong start here. We'll go for the mill foundry. We can grow in 1 turn if I put everybody on food right now, so we probably should do that. And then we can rearrange as needed. New technology. If we go for the sewer, we'll get that approval. If I go for language square, I can start doing quests. Do I want to do quests, or do I want to just pacify people? I feel like quests are... they situationally can be really good, but it's a risk. I also need to get the extractors if I want to continue my faction quest. Sewers, on the other hand, could be really good. We can be done with that in 5 turns. When does my spices expire? 2 more turns. Yeah, let's go for the sewer system kind of early. I want to be as happy as possible to get a 15% boost across everything, because this is going to translate into a really, really good advantage for me. I hope. I pray. As long as I'm not grossly misunderstanding how this works. All right. One thing I could have done, by the way, is I don't have to have my hero with the Ipitane. All right, so there's 15 titanium. Another... oh, die. Oh, heartbreaker. I just teleported. All right, we're going to send him up here. I guess I'm okay with exploring and just maybe joining the armies up. More spices? Holy crud. The idea being that it actually saves me a lot of dust. And we'll probably end up using the army to go kill people. Like the Kazanji. So we'll grab this with my hero, and then get the armies together, go kill the Kazanji. We'll have to rebuild them, then go kill more Kazanji, and assimilate them, use fungal spores and stuff, I guess. I mean, debate... oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, hang on. Sit tight. I forgot. I got the lust for loot, but I didn't actually explore the ruins. So we do still need to do that. Hang on. All right, can I speed up the mill to 1 turn? Yes, with 2 pops. With the other 2, I will get the science, so we can immediately jump into the sewer system after that. Okay, next turn. So I still need to march the hero up that way. But what I want to do, why can't I separate you from the army? I can't? Oh, that sucks. I don't know why I can't separate my hero from the army. Because he's locked. Yeah, that's why. Alright, so I've goofed with my exploration even further in this first episode. But so be it. We are going to have this guy backtrack, explore these ruins, and grab this one. You can go up here next turn. You guys are going to go down here. And then we'll reconvene to go kill the Kazanji, because I don't think I'm going to end up getting Language Square, at least not for the foreseeable future. That's the plan anyway. Okay, so this is our start. Aside from some obvious misplays by me, I would say it is a phenomenally good start in terms of just straight-up resources. Our city is strong right now. And if we keep stockpiling this correctly, we are going to do very, very well. We'll come back to all of that in the next video. Thank you all for watching. I do hope you are excited for the series, because I know that I am excited to play for it. Please hit that like button if you are. Leave a comment with your tips and suggestions. Again, I am no expert at Endless Legend. Impossible difficulty is going to be very difficult. So if you have any tips or tricks, do let me know. Subscribe if you have not already, hit that notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.